Hey everyone! When Stonehearth Alpha 18 hit Steam Stable last week, you might have noticed that it contained a bunch of new animations for your hearthlings, and at least one new animation for a monster. This work from Malley is just the tip of an iceberg of animation-related projects that he's undertaking for us. In today's Desktop Tuesday, let's take a closer look. Unlike everyone else on the team, Malley has professional experience as a 3D artist and animator, so when he joined us earlier this summer, we immediately threw him at our animation backlog. It was his first time using our program, 3D Studio Max, so idols seemed like a good place to start. They add flavor to the world, inner life to the hearthlings, and they don't interact with any other objects in the world the way that carry, combat, eating, and sleeping animations do. Malley asked the rest of the team to help him brainstorm, and we came up with a huge list of potential idols that included things like tapping feet and counting fingers. He then requested volunteers, himself included, to act some of them out in front of a camera so that he could work from life references. If you look at these new idols, you'll see that they have a ton more detail than our old animations. Malley's actually studied this stuff. This expresses itself in a ton of keyframes. Our old animations would have had 4 or 5, these new ones have dozens. We think they look pretty good. After working on a few idols, Malley realized that they might not be the best use of his time. After all, they only play when hearthlings are idle. Wouldn't you rather see animations that contributed to more active hearthling activities? He hit on the idea of making idols that could also be recombined and reused in other situations or for future features, like a bank of useful animations. He made us a giant spreadsheet. Animations that could be used in lots of future contexts, like finger pointing and applause, got priority. Animations that were very specific, like singing or dancing, got low priority. And that's where these other animations come from. Here's brow wipe. Here's complete. Here's concerned. Here's reserved. Here's tool inspection. Right now, they play as idols and can make sense as such, but you could also imagine crafters doing them before or after the craft animation, or workers helping out with the building. The rest of this work should happen in a future alpha, but animations can take a long time, so you can see how it would be useful to have a bank of them. While adding new idols, Malley has also been updating old animations that he felt could use a bit more oomph. The yawn animation has recently received an update. It is now 100% more likely to make me want to yawn too while I'm watching it. The Varenne also got an update. Here is the old Varenne's animation. You can see that when he's walking, his feet don't really match up and his whole body wiggles from side to side. When he attacks, his whole body sort of curves smoothly into the headbutt. This is very cute, but when Malley was redoing the Varenne's rig to support other similarly shaped monsters so that it would be easier to animate them, he wanted to give the critter a bit more menace, solidity, and mass. Here is the new animation. You can see clearly that the Varenne's walking stride is much more realistically like a lizard's, with an invisible upper arm moving the lower legs as a crocodile's would. And instead of curving his whole body left and right, his eyes now stay focused forward, even though his tail still moves to counterbalance his weight, because he's hunting. He's coming for you. And lastly, man, look at this new headbutt. There's a greater sense of weight in the Varenne's hips, and there's a tangible impact and recoil when he snaps forward. It's fast and snappy and startling, just like a good attack should be. Malley has a lot more animation-related projects lined up, many of which should make future animations much simpler. Most of the models in the game do not have a rig, for example, which is a system that dictates where all the bones of a model should be at rest. If you make a mistake in a model with a rig, you can set the bones back to their default state and start over. Without a rig, setting all the pieces back to default puts them all in a pile at the origin, which means starting over takes forever. Rigs also allow for references, which mean that changes can be made to bones and automatically panned out to all animations. Right now, when we need to change a bone or a joint on a model, every animation must be updated. Malley's looking at all of these time savers and more so that it will be easier than ever to make new animations quickly for all the inhabitants of Hearth. And that's it for this week. If you have any suggestions for new or updated animations that would make the game feel more alive, shout them out here in the comments or on our forum at discourse.stonehearth.net. See you next week!